I want to tell you a little bit about somebody that's backstage right now, Saisha. Saisha's backstage for you. She'll be here in a minute. She took the proceeds from her first ever solo concert and donated them to Manatee County Schools for American. That's what giving back, that's right, that's what giving back to the community is all about. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you, she's been on American Idol. She's been on Dreamgirls. She is a celebrity in the United States, but she comes from Manatee County. Her roots are right here at Daughtry Elementary, Booker Middle, Manatee School for the Arts. Are you ready for Saisha? Let's do it again. Saisha, 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 Saisha. Yeah.
I changed my hair since that video. Hope you like it. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so happy to be here. I love you too. All right, so everyone in here is in middle school, right? No? Oh, you in high school? Oh, you're fancy. Okay, I see. Middle school. Wow. Middle school. My mom is actually sitting in the audience, and so is my sister. So I would like to thank them for being here because they have supported me throughout the years, and even during the time of middle school. Yes. Middle school for me was actually a really, really tough time. I like went home every day and like cried my eyes out. I don't even know if my mom knew this. But I mean, it's a tough time because you're getting out of elementary school, you're about to embark upon, you know, high school, and the journey begins, and you know, you have all the cliques, and you're trying to like figure out, you know, where you fit in, and you know, what you want to do with your life, you know, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a performer, or you know, you're just figuring out things, and it's a major transition. And for me, I think my biggest struggle in middle school was actually just living up to this mold of perfection, this idea of perfection and what people wanted me to be. I always tried to be on my best behavior. I was kind of like the goody two-shoes, whatever you want to call it. I was, you know, I had a really strong work ethic, and I always locked myself in my room. I had my little keyboard, and I was just like, you know, play my keyboard and draw, and just, you know, I was a really creative person. I love theater. So I tried to excel in everything that I did, but, you know, even at home, you know, I was the youngest. So I kind of got picked on a lot by my older sisters because they were really mean to me. And like, I didn't have a job, so I didn't really have money to buy, like, you know, all the fancy clothes that I wanted to wear. And plus we had school uniforms. Do you guys have uniforms? Oh my gosh. Do we like the uniforms or no? Or I tried to make it work, but it just was not working for me. Like, I didn't like it. So that was hard too, you know, because everybody looked the same, so you try to be different, and you try to, like, you know, wear the shorts a little bit shorter than everybody else, or not, or try to tuck the shirt a certain way to look fancy, or put on a fancy belt, but everybody pretty much looked the same, so I tried to make the best of it. But I think, like I said, my biggest struggle in middle school was just trying to be perfect, and I went to a school where there was, like, the majority was Caucasian, and it was probably like 5 black students at my school. And for some of you who don't know, I'm Puerto Rican and Bahamian, so my mom's Bahamian, and like, so I have like a big, you know, there's a lot of diversity going on in my family. So at school, I really didn't know where I fit in. You know, I tried to hang around with Puerto Rican kids, and they were like, well, you don't speak Spanish, and you dark skinned, so you ain't Spanish. And I was like, but I am. My dad's Puerto Rican. So I was like, they just disowning me, so I'm just not even gonna hang out with them. And then I tried to hang around some of the white kids, and there was a lot of racists that went to our school. Like, there was one girl in particular who would call me and my friends names, and she would say really, really mean things. And it was kind of hard, and like a bunch of kids would like wear the Confederate flag, and we felt like, offended and kind of like, like outcasts. So there was one time we went to the principal and we kind of, expressed our ideas, but it just kind of continued throughout my entire, middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So, but for me, the bullying and just not being able to fit in, I kind of was used to it at home because I was the youngest. So that wasn't my biggest challenge. My biggest challenge was just trying to cover up mistakes that I made, like just anything. Like, I just felt like I had to be perfect because I grew up in church. And how many people go to church here? I mean, I know this is not no Christian seminar or whatever, but religion, everything in your life right now, everything in your life, whether it's what religion you believe in, your morals, what you're taught at home, it all affects the choices that you make. If your parent is a Christian or a Muslim or whatever it is, like, it affects your belief system and it affects the choices that you make. And for me, like, I couldn't have a boyfriend until I was. Y'all got boyfriends and girlfriends out here, like, or is y'all got the rule, the 18 rule or 16 thing, or it doesn't matter anymore? Well, I couldn't have a boyfriend until I was 16 years old. And, I tried to stay away from, relationships because for me, I know that I could get easily distracted, and, I was a very passive person, so I always tried to, like, have that tunnel vision of focus. And I think that's important too at your age, to be focused. And I'm not saying don't ever fall in love in your life, but I'm just saying right now, I know I didn't realize at the time in middle school. I just knew I was that type of person just because of the way I grew up and what I was taught in church and Sunday school, and my mom, she instilled a lot of strong values inside of us. But for me, like, my main thing was doing the best that I could do in school and soaking up every ounce of information that I could from my teachers. And I went to performing arts school, so I was always like really, really, really anxious to learn and to be focused. And I felt like, being in a relationship, it was just like too much for me. I was like, I'm in middle school. I'm trying to be focused right now. Like, I want to do Broadway. I want to be on Broadway. So, like I said, I'm not saying don't ever fall in love. Like, you have your entire life to fall in love and to have relationships. Relationships are a beautiful thing. And if you have parents who are married, and they're in love and you see that, and I'm sure you want that. But right now is the time in middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, is the time to focus on, extracurricular activities and what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, how many people want to be doctors or entertainers or lawyers or, well, in order to get there, it takes a lot of work. I've been wanting to act and sing and dance since I was 4 years old. I was singing around the house with my mom when I was 2. And I would not be where I am today. Like, there's still a lot of goals that I want to accomplish, but I would not have been where I am today if I didn't write those goals down. It's nothing like writing them down and staying focused. And if there's people around you in your circle who are pressuring you to do stuff, whether it's sex, whether it's drugs, whether it's being in a certain group of people, gang affiliated, whatever it is, if you feel uncomfortable, the best thing you can do is talk to somebody about it. Somebody at your church, somebody at, the local, Boys and Girls Club, or your mom, your sister, your brother. Like, don't ever be afraid to let someone know the things that you're feeling. I know when I was younger, like, I love my mama, but she kind of made it hard for me to talk to her about sex. So, like, I was like, oh my gosh, who am I going to talk to about sex? Like, I don't know who to talk to about that. So, there's always someone to talk to. If you're curious about something, you want to know about something, or you feel like you're pressured to do something, always have someone to talk to. No one's perfect. We all get thoughts in our heads about, oh my gosh, like, I think I want to hang out with Billy today, but I know Billy's kind of like a bad influence on me, but dang, Billy's so cool. I just want to, like, dress like Billy and, have his swag and all that stuff. But the thing is, Billy might put you in an uncomfortable position one day. And you could have talked to somebody about it, and they could have gave you some really, really good advice. But you were afraid of not being perfect in somebody's eyes. And for me, that was something I struggled with. So there were a lot of mistakes that I made in my youth because I felt like I couldn't tell anybody that I was having these thoughts, you know, or I couldn't tell anybody that I was struggling with certain things. And that's something that you just have to remember. Nobody on this earth is perfect. We've all made decisions that we've regretted. We've all had thoughts that we're not supposed to be having. You know, we've done things that we weren't supposed to do. You know, it's either good or bad. There's nothing in between. But just know there's always somebody to talk to, the school counselor, whatever it is. And nowadays, I mean, we have those shows out there, the reality shows. Not Idol, not American Idol, but what is it, the 16 and pregnant and How do we feel about these shows? Who watches these shows? Okay, I don't have cable, but I've heard about them. So we have a lot of people who do watch these shows. All right, now do you guys feel like they're sending out a good message? Okay, why is that? What is that? Okay, that one, you with ponytail. Okay, you think it's good or bad? Kind of in between. Okay, well, thank you for your input. This is how I've always been. If I'm watching something and I feel like it's persuading me to kind of go into a direction that I don't want to go into, I just cut it off. I cut it off. I'm not trying to tell you what to watch, but I'm just saying what has worked for me. I feel like if you want to be successful in life, what you feed your mind and what you feed your spirit is so important. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You can be whatever religion you want. But I just mean overall, no matter what your religion is, no matter what your denomination is, if you believe in God or if you don't believe in God, I feel like if there's something on TV and it's just giving you the urge oh man, that'd be cool to try, or oh, I don't know, that kind of, that's kind of cool. Well, I wonder if I did that, oh, that makes me think about this person, that makes me think about this guy, or, even music. The music that we listen to now, a lot of it, let's be real. Let's be real, y'all. It's about what? Sex, drugs, violence, right? And every single day you listen to it, you're feeding your mind and you're feeding your spirit that. And like I was saying earlier, if you want to be successful and you have a goal and it's here, and you're listening to music and you're watching things that's over here, maybe you should X those things out, So it's all about taking those little tiny steps to better yourself and to stay focused. Because right now, school is the most important thing. You could want to be a social worker, a lawyer, even an entertainer. I went to college, There's a lot of people who are in my field who actually don't complete school, but they take acting classes or they take seminars. It's so important to soak up knowledge and get all the knowledge you can in whatever craft that you're trying to do. And right now, what you're learning in middle school is the basics. So even though you might get bored, what you're learning right now is so essential to your career and things that you want to do. Just common knowledge stuff like how to balance your check, you know what I mean? So everything that you're learning right now is so important. So your number one goal right now should be what? What? Focusing in school. And how are we going to focus in school? Studying, being persistent, being disciplined. And when I say discipline, being responsible, yes, for the responsibility. Single, somebody said single. So your work ethic is important, staying disciplined. And for me, what worked for me actually was surrounding myself around, positive people and surrounding myself around people who supported me and what I did. I had a friend, y'all, oh my gosh. I had a friend since pre-K. And in middle school was the toughest time for us. I was the one who was trying to hold our friendship together, but I was realizing that she was not supporting me anymore in what I did. She was becoming more jealous and more mean towards me, and I was like, I don't need that in my life. So I just gradually, life just happened, and when we got in 9th grade, we weren't friends anymore, because I realized that if someone is not for me, then they're against me, and they're not supporting my dream and they're not supporting my goal, then I can't have them in my circle. So if there's people around you who are doing drugs, who are sexting, that's all bad influence on you. And if you want to be successful and you have a goal that you want to reach, you write it down, you do your work ethic, right? And then you have to weave out those people out of your life, because it's just kind of going to bring you down and keep you unfocused. And every successful person, they stay focused. And sometimes they have to be like, hey, I can't go out tonight because you know what? I got to study. Hey, I can't go this place today because, I got a big exam and this is important to me that I study for this. So it's all about just kind of realizing the people who are for you and the people who are against you. And if they're not for you, then you just got to let them go. Remember I was telling you about the whole perfection thing or whatever? I think the reason I felt like that a lot too is because, a lot of people saw me as this proper girl. I had dark skin, this curly weird hair, but I spoke, I was very proper, well-mannered. And a lot of people never knew that where I came from was the projects, we moved from Connecticut to Sarasota, Florida. And at the time, my family and I, we were struggling a lot. And we moved into the Sarasota, projects. And it was 1 bedroom. And it was 4 girls, 2 adults. And sometimes my grandmother would be there and sometimes she would leave. But we were in a small unit and we made it work. There's sometimes our lights went off, our water went off. I would have to go stay at a friend's house or at my aunt's house. And my dad also, right now, thank God, he's sober and he's clean, but he struggled with drugs and alcohol for the majority of my life, of my youth. So there were times when I would come home from school and I would be carpooling with my friend, and I would see my dad on the streets. And I was so embarrassed and I was so ashamed because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't let people know that that's my dad. And one time I read about him in the newspaper and I was like, this is so embarrassing. People don't think I come from this, Here I am, doing good in school. I'm getting in all the plays. I respect my peers. I respect everybody around me. And nobody knows that when I go home, my lights are off. My water's off. I don't have money to go on that school trip. Hopefully I'll sing and someone will be like, hey, little girl, you have a beautiful voice. Here's some money. We struggled a lot growing up. And I saw my dad deal with drugs and alcohol and how addiction can overtake your entire life. It's serious. And for you guys out there, if you have a parent that's dealing with, addiction, sometimes if you try something, you can get addicted to it too. So you have to be careful. Every choice you make, it's something that affects you for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. So really think about the things that you put into your body, about the people you hang out with. For me, what kept me from following in my dad's footsteps was the fact that I had this dream to be an entertainer. And I didn't want to end up like my dad. I told my dad one time when he came home, he was living in the woods, and he came home one day and he said, I know I'm killing myself. And it literally, it crushed my heart. And I told myself from that day on, I'm going to better myself, and I'm going to make something of myself so that I can not only help myself and not be like that, but so that I can help my family. So sometimes it might take, hearing a story like that, or hearing somebody else's story, or just experiencing it and learning it the hard way. But I hope by me telling you that story, it will inspire you to, make the right decisions and do the right things, because addiction is serious, drugs are serious, sex, getting pregnant at your age, like, you don't want to have to put yourself in that position where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm ashamed of what I did, and now I'm pregnant. Oh my gosh, should I get an abortion? Should I tell somebody? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, that's a situation you never want to be in. And these things happen. They happen every day. They may not have happened to somebody that you know, but they happen all around the world. So you just have to be mindful of your circle, of your groups. I was picked on in high school because I was a theater kid. And the theater kids at my high school, I went to Booker High, and we have there's visual performing arts programs. There's art, there's theater, there's dance, and I was in the theater program. And coming out of middle school from a charter school, MSA, I went to MSA, coming from a charter school where I knew everybody and it was close-knit, to a big high school, and I was in another city. I didn't know anybody. So first off, people thought I was an outcast because they were like, who is this new girl at the school? Oh my gosh, who is she walking around? She know people. So I was in this program kind of secluded from all the regular kids, the football players and all the athletes and stuff. So whenever I went to lunch, I would literally sit by myself at lunch because I was too afraid to hang around the people that I felt comfortable with, because they were getting picked at because they were gay or they were lesbian. And I was like, I can't hang around them because the way I grew up, people are going to think that I'm a lesbian, or people are going to judge me. And so I didn't hang around my friends because I didn't hang around my friends because I was too embarrassed of what people would think about me. But we got picked on all the time just because we were a little different. We were a little, goofy, and we wore leotards with our little pants and stuff and our ballet shoes and stuff. So I did get picked on, but I always tell people the most important opinion is the one that you have of yourself. So if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't love yourself, you can't expect anybody else to. And I feel like with age, you kind of get better at that, accepting yourself and accepting your flaws. But when I was younger, I definitely did not accept my flaws and who I was as a person, and I did get picked on a lot. I am a really focused person. I was so focused that a lot of the things that were happening around me, I didn't even notice until after I got out of school. I was like, really? That person did what? That happened? What? I didn't even know. Where was I? Oh, I was in the VPA program. That was right. But I feel like at my school, it was a lot about everybody had their own little clique, and how well you can dress. So if you didn't dress well, it's kind of like you just got picked on, oh, you got Payless shoes on, so you got Payless shoes on. What about Nike? What about Reebok? It was kind of like that. Like I was saying earlier, I hung around a lot of theater kids, and for the most part, we were all really, really good kids. But no, you know what? There were some kids in the theater department that were potheads. They were potheads, but I just never was really interested in that because I saw how my dad's addiction left him out on the streets, and I just stayed away from alcohol. I stayed away from drugs because I didn't want to be like that. California, when I moved from here, I went to California, I did Idol, and right now I'm in New Jersey. I'm doing a play that I did in middle school and in high school, guys. It was called Once on This Island. I did it in middle school and high school, and now I'm doing it, as a Broadway show in New Jersey, so it's kind of cool. But I shop a lot, in California. What was that? I mean, people struggle all the time, you know what I mean? I feel like it did get better, and especially when my dad got off of drugs and alcohol, he was able to, stay sober and clean, so he was able to get a job, because sometimes he would get fired because he would show up to work, with alcohol in his breath, and people you just can't show up to work like that, you know, so you get fired. So he couldn't really keep a job, but now that he's sober and he's bettered himself, he can keep a job, and life is a lot better now for them. When I think of inspiration, I don't just think about how far someone is in their career, like how many awards they have or how nice they look, but I think about their personality, and I think about what they believe in. So in that case, I would say Alicia Keys. When I was 16, when I was in middle school, I saw a video of Alicia Keys. It was called Fallen, and I was so like intrigued by her because first of all, she had braids in her hair, and back then, like, nobody was wearing braids in their hair, so she was different and bold and unique with her style, and she didn't really care about what anybody else was saying. I mean, what anybody else would say about her. So I've always admired her. And she stays out of, like, the media, you know what I mean? Unlike some people that I know. You know, people in the media that's always in the media, always on TMZ and... No, I'm not in a relationship right now. And I like it that way. No, I'm serious. In Hollywood, honestly, guys, in Hollywood, like, there's a lot of misconceptions about Hollywood, but I'm just gonna be honest with you. Hollywood is a very, very evil place. And what I mean by evil is, like, a lot of people pretty much sell themselves to you know, for the price of fame. Not everybody, but a lot of people, like, sacrifice certain things just so they can have, you know, their dream. But yeah. My goals in high school, I actually, I was a part of a program since I was 9 years old called Take Stock in Children. Oh, you know about Take Stock? Okay. And at the time, you know, I kind of fell into the low income bracket. So it gave me the chance to go to college because I couldn't really afford to go to college. What was the question again? High school. That's where I was going. And the scholarship program provided me with a mentor who I would see like 1 hour out of the week. And we would write down my goals every week. And one of them was to do Broadway. And to release an album, which I'm actually working on right now this year. And a movie. I just did a movie. And you guys, I'm not going to tell you what show it is, but I have a really big audition coming up, and I'm really excited about it. So when I get home, I'm literally flying out tomorrow early in the morning, and I'm going to be on the plane learning my lines. And then I go close to it. It's very close to Glee. Did what? No, but I knew a lot of people who did it. I just never... Here's the thing. I was in the theater program. Wait 1 second, y'all. I was in the theater program, and a lot of kids in the theater program would smoke weed. Like, they smoked a lot of weed. But I just wasn't interested in that. And because I have a voice, I'm like, I'm trying to protect my voice, and I know that's not good. No. So I just never hung out with them. Like, they would have parties, and they would kind of like hang out after school, and I was like, well, that's not something I want to do, so I just never did it. My mom. My mom's a singer. And I grew up watching her sing in church and like in the community, so she's like my first musical inspiration. Well, if it's acting or singing or dancing, the only way you can get over it is by experience and doing that and like being on a stage and having the experience. And over time, you kind of you get comfortable and you're not afraid anymore. So taking a class, because when I went to MSA, I was shy. My mom will tell you, I would sing in church like this. Why should I feel discouraged? Like, I'd be like this, like stiff as a board. I was so shy. But I would sing, but I was like, And I think what helped break me out of that, I got into a theater program. And you know, you do exercises where you gotta like talk to people and you gotta do scenes with people. So you break out of your shell. So I think working on your craft daily, whether it's watching YouTube videos on, you know, vocal lessons or acting lessons if you can't afford it, or, you know, talking to your teacher about like a scholarship program that you can do, you know, sponsor someone who can sponsor you. But classes help. Yeah. Hey guys, I just want to say one last thing. You got to listen to this. This is really important. Like, this is for real. Like, for real. Okay. Whatever it is you want to do in life concerning your career and your dream, literally you can do it. And I mean that with every part of me. Whatever dream you have, you can accomplish it if you work hard, if you stay disciplined, you surround yourself around positive people who support you and your gift and your talent, and you stay focused and driven, you can do it. I wouldn't have made it through Hollywood Week. I lost my voice. I had laryngitis. Who sings with laryngitis? It's kind of hard. It's really hard. But I told myself, this is my dream. And before I got on that stage, I told myself, I'm not going back to Miami, because I was broke. I was so broke. I was broke at the time, and I was like, I have to do this, or else I go back and live with my friend and just stay broke. Like, this is my dream. I have to get through this. So I prayed really hard. I went on vocal rest. Discipline. I went on vocal rest. I only drank warm water. I cut my shower on. I made it like a steam room in there, like it was like we were in Miami. And I went out on that stage, and it happened. A little girl from the projects of Sarasota, dad on drugs and alcohol, lights off every month, water off every month, bullying at school, racism at school, peer pressure all around me, kids in the theater department doing weed, doing drugs, trying to fit a mold, trying to be perfect for everybody, not being myself. I finally stepped on that stage, and I told myself, I'm gonna let it go. And my past is my past. My past doesn't determine my future. Your past does not determine your future. Whatever your brother is, whatever your dad is, your mother is, you don't have to be what they are. You can be yourself and shine at it and fulfill whatever dream you have. If you can go there in your head, you can go there in your body. So take that with you. Have you ever reached a rainbow's end? A little bit louder. And did you find your pot of gold? Ever touch the streaming stars? And tell me, how high did you go? Ever felt like you were dreaming just to find that you're awake, and the magic that surrounds you will lift you up and guide you on your way? I can see the stars across the sky. Dreamed 100,000 dreams before, now I finally realize. See, I waited all my life for this moment to arrive, and finally I believe. Thank you, guys. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I really love you all. And I just want to say, remember that the most important opinion is the one that you hold of yourself. So continue to believe in yourself no matter what anybody says. And if people don't believe you, don't believe in you, then you don't need them in your circle. Surround yourself around people in your circle who believe in you. Honey, honey, I can see the stars all the way from here. Can't you see the glow from my window pane? I can feel the sun whenever you're near. Every time you touch me, I just melt away. Now everybody asks me why I'm smiling out from ear to ear. But I know nothing's perfect, but it's worth it after fighting through my tears. Finally you put me first, baby, it's you. You're the one I love. You're the one I need. You're the only one I see. Come on, baby, it's you. You're the one that gives your all. You're the one I can always call. When I need you, make everything stop. Finally, you put my love on. Dun, 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 dun. One more. Honey, honey, I can feel the wind whipping past my face as we dance the night away. Boy, your lips taste like the night of champagne as I kiss you again and again and again and again. Now everybody asks me why I'm smiling out from ear to ear. But I know nothing's perfect, but it's worth it after fighting through my tears. Finally you put me first, baby, it's you. You're the one I love. You're the one I need. You're the only one I see. Come on, baby, it's you. You're the one that gives your all. You're the one I can always call. When I need you, make everything stop. Finally, you put my love on top. Ooh. Thank you.